Okay, so what's the point of me doing this review on the LG G4 Stylus? Well, the simple fact is that someone, I'm not going to name any names that I know, she just needed to upgrade her phone on Metro PCS, which is a network inside New York City. I don't know how many of you have access to Metro PCS, but to make a long story short, it's actually a pretty shitty service. It's below T-Mobile, which means it's ultra shitty, because T-Mobile is probably the worst service you can have if you're here in New York City. The best is Verizon. Right after Verizon comes AT&T, and then there's T-Mobile, which really, really sucks. T-Mobile is actually for kids. They use it so that they can purchase lots and lots of Galaxy phones and anything that their parents are actually dumb enough to get them on, what's it called, a family plan, so that they end up sharing all these minutes and whatnot, and, you know, they run up massive bills, and then they want to cry poor mouth and vote for Democrats. So anyway, the LG Stylus comes in a couple of forms depending upon what network you have it on. As you can see, it's pretty much up to date. It was released in 2015 April. The reason why I'm actually doing this is because I looked online before actually getting the phone, and the problem was there wasn't many reviews available to actually have a good idea whether or not it was a good phone or not. So let's just take a quick look at some of the specs before I show you the phone. So very simply, this thing is being given away on Metro PCS. So if you had a Galaxy 3 or a Galaxy 4, you have enough of a credit when they tell you you have to bring your phone back because they have to update your service and this, that, and other. A $300 credit is pretty much enough to allow you to walk away with this phone for free. So as you can see, it has a resolution of 720 by 1280 pixels and a pixel density of 258. Now, a lot of these, you know, what they call quote-unquote professional reviewers like to talk about pixel density, but very simply, once the pixel density gets high enough so that you can't really visually see the difference between letters and edges with the naked human eye, it really becomes to a point where it's just a talking point, you know? So what we'll do is we'll take a look at the phone. And mind you, I'm using an iPhone 6 Plus in order to record this. So, basically, this has a quad-core 1.2, and if you have the 3G model, it has a quad-core 1.4. There's two models, basically, the 3G model and the H635. Now, if you have the H635, you only get 8 gigabytes of internal RAM, and you get 1 gigabyte of RAM for the CPU. There's a 16 gigabyte storage if you have the T-Mobile version, and 2 gigabytes of RAM. So basically, it makes more sense to be on T-Mobile. Now, once again, this is an LG phone. There's a lot of people who've had negative experiences with LG phones, and they prefer to go for Galaxies because Galaxies are more polished. If you take a look at the newer Galaxies, all of that shit that people used to talk about being able to buy a Galaxy phone and swap out batteries and be able to swap out memory cards, all of that's pretty much coming to an end with the Galaxy 6. And as you can see now, it's built more like an iPhone where it has internal storage that you can't remove, and it has a battery you can't remove. This thing has a 13 megapixel camera that takes 4128 by 3096 pixels. So basically, this is it's a pretty good camera. If you've got that T-Mobile version, it's a good camera. It says it has a laser autofocus, which we'll try to take a look at. It has obviously geotagging and pretty much face detection, just like anything else that's a modern camera would have. As you can see, it offers 1080p at 30 frames per second. Mind you, the iPhone 6 Plus offers 1080p video at 60 frames per second. So right there, the iPhone 6 Plus is automatically better as a video camera. I haven't seen any video camera, especially the S6, that has a smoother and better looking camera app than iPhone with the inclusion of iMovie. When you have iMovie, it allows you to sew all your images together. There is nothing on the Android market that comes close to iMovie when it comes to mobile video editing. So any of the fanboys who are angry at me for saying it so that people understand will just have to be angry. The iMovie app is $5. You can add it to your iPhone 6, and you get excellent video editing capabilities. And don't let any fanboys trick you, because the thing about it is the iPhone camera really is better. But what they like to do is they like to talk about the actual specs and numbers. What they can't tell you with the numbers is refinement. Refinement is something that Apple does very, very well. They don't sell their phones based on gimmicks and this, that, and the other. This phone right here is not one of those phones they sell based on any gimmicks. The Galaxy models, they offer some type of gimmick. Like, for instance, they had the Galaxy Edge, and they had the Galaxy Note. And, you know, the Stylus to me is a gimmick, because I don't like having to keep track of pieces. Normally, when you see people with these phones, it's like they're missing styluses. And that's just that. So I don't like having the extra stuff, honestly. To, you know, basically sum this portion up, there's a 3,000 milliamp battery, which is pretty good for getting you through an entire day. You should have to only charge this thing probably once every 2 days, unless you're a person who sits on the internet regularly. This will get you through your workday. And thus far, I've seen that it can get through an entire workday. As you can see, it has micro USB version 2.0, and you know, it has a removable memory card, and it will accept up to 128 gigabyte micro SDs. Another problem is, and this is one of the reasons why Samsung decided to stop making their micro SD card slot capable phones, is simply because the new micro SD cards, some of them have trouble, like some of them go corrupt, and there's a lot of people who complain about them, and they say, yeah, I lost my pictures, and, you know, they think that all they have to do is buy a memory card, and they think that they have a very good memory card. The problem is, they don't always buy an excellent brand of memory card, which means that they're taking a chance with their data. What I like about iPhones is that they have the secure, solid-state digital drive, which means that there is no removable parts, and these things are very, very stable. So all of the video that I shoot for all of my videos on YouTube, which earn over $1,000 a month, I love using my iPhone to shoot video, and that's the reason why I bought the iPhone 6 Plus with 128 gigabytes. So now that I've looked through the specs for a minute, let's take a look at the actual phone. You'll notice about the Stylus is it's a pretty high quality feeling phone, despite the fact it has one of those typical removable backs. The Stylus is in the top. You can see a microphone, you can see a headphone jack in the top. In the bottom you see the USB charging port, you see speakers, and you also see microphones, right? So basically it's a pretty straightforward Android phone, which is designed to accept any Android version, pretty much up to date. Anything that comes after, it's ready for that too. The power button's on the back. I have a kind of a problem with this, because that means that, you know, if I have big hands, and this phone is roughly the size of an iPhone 6 Plus, if I have big hands, that means that I pretty much have to use this finger right here to turn it on and off. I'm really used to being able to use this finger right here in order to turn my iPhone 6 Plus off. It depends what hand I'm using it in, because otherwise I'm using my thumb. When you turn it on, once again, now I got to reach to the back because it turned off. When you turn it on, you see the lovely screen. How does this screen look will depend on the person looking at it, but frankly, I can say that it's a pretty good looking screen. It's bright and everything. I'm gonna have to go to the back. You'll find the 2900 milliamp battery, which could just as easily have been 3000, most likely if you have the T-Mobile version. And right here you can see that I've already put a 16 gigabyte memory card in addition to the memory that's already in the phone. So it's pretty straightforward. How's that back feel? Some people don't like these backs. Despite the fact this looked like brushed aluminum, it's absolutely not. This is typical Galaxy plastic crap. Typical. Now, if anything happens to it, obviously you can replace it just like you would one of those shitty Galaxy phones. But this is an LG phone. It's not made by Samsung. So, you know, it feels like all the parts are really made in the same exact factory, but that's what happens when you don't buy Apple. This is what you get. You get flimsy plastic. They could have made this metal, but you know, they weren't going to do anything that expensive. Stylus. Flimsy and mediocre. It looks like one of those antennas for like an old radio that you accidentally rip off and then the radio never works, so you have to put an antenna in it. So you have to like make an antenna, you have to MacGyver an antenna out of like a metal coat hanger that they normally would have used at an abortion clinic. Okay, so let's see what we can do with the phone without using the stylus. So you hit that, the back has like a you could hear that. It's typical plastic, but you know, I don't deal with this plastic stuff. I only deal with Apple. So anyway, this is what the screen looks like. It's a good looking screen. As you know, it's a big screen, so it's wide if you go on the internet, which I'll probably do in a minute. And you can see all the carrier settings and this, that, and the other at the top. This phone is attached to Wi-Fi right now. You go here, you can turn the brightness up and down. As you can see, the lowest brightness setting, I'll turn the light off. The lowest brightness setting is good enough for like when you're in the bed and you know somebody is giving you a booty call and you just pick up the phone and you know you just you don't want to wake yourself up, so you just want to use the lowest light possible. So that's the lowest possible setting, and this is pretty comfortable to the eyes to read in the dark. I don't like this new Android design that they're using, because like this button right here, that's the home button. This button right here is the multi-screen button, which allows you to do dual windows. Like if you want to, let's say I clear those out, right? So I can clear those out. It takes a couple of seconds despite the Snapdragon processor, but as you know, Android phone makers are pretty good about lying about how powerful their CPUs are. Meanwhile, Apple CPU continues whatever power rating it is claimed to have for as long as you have it. So let's hit Google right quick, and let's say we go to TTAC, since I like the truthaboutcars.com. Okay, so this is the truthaboutcars.com, and as you can see, it takes a little while to render. And mind you, I'm on Wi-Fi, so this shouldn't be taking, very long to render. But I guess this is about normal when you're going on a website where they have lots of pictures. So basically, scrolling, as you can see, look at my finger. Look at my finger. I can't make this shit up. There's a very simple reason why I don't practice what I'm doing. It's because I want it to be completely extemporaneous. You see this? It's taking a little while to render, so we'll wait. But okay, now it should be finished rendering. I want you to notice the responsiveness of this screen. I want you to see that. Now, I haven't obviously practiced this beforehand because I want you to see exactly what it's like as I use it. So let's say I hit comments, and I go to the comments section. I go inside the page where there should be less data to deal with, and the thing is going to finish loading up the page. It's going to finish rendering. Let's just wait a second, because since I have to wait so damn long for this Snapdragon processor, yeah, you can keep lying to me, but I'm going to keep buying Apple products, okay? Because, the sad thing is, most Android buyers, they already know what the deal is. It's like, listen, if you can't afford Apple, go across the street. We're not making no deals. You can get 3 Galaxy phones for the price of 1 at T-Mobile. We're not doing that over here. Okay, scrolling is a little bit better now, but as you can see, sometimes the page isn't really following my finger that well. Is that a big nitpick? Probably not. Most people are just going to be reading the regular internet, and they're not going to be, I guess they're not going to be browsing it that much to the point where that might become an issue, the responsiveness of the capacitive touch. So just keep that in mind. The browser renders a bit slow on this phone. Usually when I use my iPhone, it doesn't take that long to get on this device is pretty straightforward. It's exactly what you expect from an Android device. So let's take a look at the YouTube app. Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat raising hell in Brooklyn. Why am I testing this? Because I want to see how loud it is, and I want to see how the screen looks when it's in full screen mode. But guess what I realized? When I was trying to turn up the volume, do you notice anything strange? Notice anything strange about this piece of crap? There's no volume buttons on the side of the goddamn phone. How about that, Apple? So that means that you have to go inside the app. Let's magnify it, but you got to go inside the app and then try to figure out where the hell the volume button is. So where is the volume button? Do you see one? Because I don't. Let's go here. Now, if we pull this down, let's find the volume. Oh, we got to go to sound. Oh, that only turns on sound and vibrate. Let's go to settings. How could you not have volume buttons? How could you not have volume buttons this day and age on your phone. I mean, listen, guys, if you're gonna copy Apple, do it right, for God's sakes. So they're so happy to show off the fact that they actually have a sound profile, but they don't have volume buttons on this phone. For nothing more than that, I have to worry about actually getting one of these. The screen looks good, but keep in mind, this camera is not capable of 60 frames per second. So that right there could be a problem for some people. You know, so this is the video I made, and I'm listening to how loud this speaker can go. So let's listen. Can this speaker really get loud enough for you to hear that Challenger engine? Nah. So if I haven't made you upset yet with this phone, then, you know, I don't know what to say. But frankly, the lack of volume buttons is a serious issue. Really quickly, let's take a look at this stylus. So the stylus, as you know, can move it just like your finger because it's capacitive touch. Okay, let's go back. Oh, quick memo. Let's see. I'll write with my other finger. Tap to add memos. Obviously, this doesn't have all the stuff that the Galaxy would have, but let's see what I can do. Let's say, nope, okay, you probably have to set it up to be able to do that. So you can do some typing buttons, and I'm assuming that it has a pen thing, because this isn't the only review I'm going to do. I'm going to do another one, maybe about the features of the phone, but the mere fact that this thing doesn't have volume controls, and it has a power on and on button on the back, that should tell you enough about it to, you know, to consider steering clear. You might as well just go for a Galaxy Note. This phone was free with the upgrade, but in my opinion, you're better off paying money to get something that's just better. So I'm definitely going to do another, I'm going to continue this review in another video, but for right now, that's pretty much the gist of this phone for right now. So I'll go deeper with the apps if you really want me to, but frankly, I'm saying, you know what, there's better options out there. You might as well just go with the Samsung version.